I'm not really that worried. I think he's going to do better as the season goes on. If you look at the metrics, he's got a 10% walk rate. That might be the best in the lineup, to be honest.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Fountain Cast, or the Noah Cameron cast, I guess, at this point, since we only record when he's pitching in the big leagues.
Yeah, we really got to give ourselves a chance to watch him at some point.
Yeah, right. Quit watching him in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah.
I left the intro there. I don't know if you noticed, Matt. I'm officially going to say that I'm done with Hunter Renfroe. I'm going to stop saying that he's going to get better. It's time to just move on.
Yeah, it might be time to call it quits. Hey, maybe if we keep recording when Noah Cameron pitches, we'll get another no-hitter into the 7th. Maybe he'll take it a little longer. Who knows?
Yeah. If he's pitching a no-no in the 7th, we might just have to just keep talking, right?
Yeah, we're going to have to record every time he pitches.
Yeah. Well, like I said, welcome back to the Fountain Cast. It's been a little while, so we'll give you some updates on the big league club, go through some news. Actually, today is probably the best day to record because tons of news that we can cover.
Yeah, really.
Not good news necessarily, so it just kind of stinks, but we'll go through that. And then we'll go through some minor league updates, same as usual. Just one or two guys from each level that we think stands out. 25 and 21. The season's gone pretty well since we talked last, but that's good for 4th in the AL Central.
Brutal.
The Twins, winners of 13 straight. What do you think that looks like the rest of the season, Matt? Is the AL Central the new AL East? It's just going to be the playoffs?
There's no way that continues, right? Like, I want to say that that's not going to continue, but the teams still look really good. I mean, the Tigers look incredible. I think both of us said in the offseason that we thought they'd be good, but I don't think anybody thought they'd be this good.
Not best in baseball. Good.
Yeah, everybody knew the Guardians were going to be good, but the Twins got super hot, super quick. If you remove that first series for the Tigers against the Dodgers, they're like 27 and 13 or something like that. Like some absurd.
Yeah, it's insane.
I was watching their game the other day, and the announcers mentioned that. It's crazy. They've been really good. So right now, I think
they're so good that Javi Baez is a good baseball player.
Right, it's crazy. He's swinging at strikes and not swinging at balls. I can't believe it. They run all the MLB The Show memes that are like when I get on and start swinging like Javi Baez, and all of a sudden that's like gone out the window.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love Salvador Perez, he might end up being the butt of that bit at some point with the sweepers, but we still love you. Yeah. Keep swinging, Salvi. Don't press. The Royals right now, I think the goals just keep up. Just like
that's all you can do.
Somebody's going to fall.
I mean,
off.
we were at the same point last season. I mean, you had the Guardians, the Royals, and the Tigers all in the playoffs. The Twins weren't really that far out until kind of the very end. So it wouldn't surprise me if this kind of just continues. I had thought that some other teams like the Red Sox were going to be a bit more in it. The Astros, I think, have kind of fallen off a little bit, but it'll be interesting. I think most of the AL Central is here to stay, at least.
Yeah, I think that the Astros are both the Astros and the Red Sox are hovering around 500. But again, I just think the goal for the Royals is stay with the pack. Somebody's going to start to fall. I think it's a matter of time before one team starts to slip. So as long as they can stay in the race, I think they'll be okay.
Yep. Well, let's get into some of the news that might impact staying in the race. Like I said, 4 games above 500, so still in a good place. Royals did sign Rich Hill to a minor league contract. He's like 45.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, he's still doing it. So I don't think he's pitched for Omaha yet, but he should pretty shortly. We'll kind of get into why that might make a difference here before long.
I think he might pitch at 45, which would be
in the big leagues. Yeah. We'll see how he does. Taylor Clark was placed on the paternity list. He'll be out, I think 3 days is what he gets. And then the return of Dairon Blanco and the Yellow Crown. What do you think he brings to the outfield? Is he going to be a boost offensively, or he's just that pinch runner again?
Yeah, we talked about this. He's just going to run. It's kind of frustrating that he's just going to run. We got so many problems with the offense, and he's just going to run. I love Dairon Blanco. I do. He's a happy guy, seems to enjoy the game, and I love when he's hitting with the crayon in his hands, but I just don't think that he provides much of a spark, although last year he was hitting better than most of the outfielders we got right now. So
he hit against lefties last year. I just didn't think he would repeat it, and he's been hurt, so who knows?
Yeah,
We don't know.
Hopefully he brings the hopefully the Achilles doesn't hinder his speed. So we'll
Mhm.
see soon. I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. TBD on that. I don't remember if he's in the lineup tonight or not. It'll just be interesting what they do on the 40 man, especially with some of this other news coming up because you've got Blanco on the 40 man, you got Tolbert on the 40 man. Both are basically pinch runners. It just seems like a waste of a spot.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that he's not in the lineup. Actually, they just displayed it, and I know he's not in the lineup
He's
because
not. Yeah.
they have
So,
Michael Massey playing in left today. So
oh, no,
he's
there you go.
yep.
Yeah, they have him in left. They have India back at second. I just I don't
I have to
understand.
make another quick gripe. Why are we taking the guy who can't hit to start the year and we're moving him around? Like,
Hmm.
what are we doing? And Kevin Biggio's DHing. Like, he's played left field. I feel like if Kevin Biggio's in the lineup, he has to play with the glove too.
It's like a game of musical chairs, and everybody sat in the wrong seat.
Right. I don't get it. I don't
Just
it makes no sense. I don't even mind putting India at second base, but why, it's either Massey should be second base or DH at this point because
mhm.
there's no point in having him play a new position thinking about that while he still is struggling to hit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I don't
been
know.
better, but still.
I like Quatraro, but there are just still some weird things. Maybe there's something behind it, but it's just weird. You know.
Yeah, I'm having more issues with the batting order than I am with the like bullpen management and stuff like that at this
I
point.
think the bullpen's fine. Lorenzen came in for the eighth the other night. Like I thought that was a fine move. You know.
Yeah.
So beyond that, so Diamond Blanco activated. We did get some bad news. Our friends Seth Lugo and Cole Reagans both headed to the injured list, 15-day IL. Reagan's exited his last start with the same groin injury, so just kind of the same thing he dealt with earlier this year. Don't think he really got back to 100%. Lugo, he misses. He was supposed to pitch today, I believe, and he was pushed
Yeah.
back because of that finger issue. Finger issues now putting him on the injured list. So, kind of the worst case scenario. Last year, the Royals had outstanding luck. Didn't really have any injuries in the rotation. Maybe a spot start here or there. And
Yeah.
now, basically, they're one and they're two. Not to discount Chris Bubich, who's probably really the two. Both of these top guys from last year now hitting the shelf onto the injured list. So,
Yeah, it's
what
tough to
what
lose those
what's
guys.
that? What's the outlook for the rotation without those guys?
It's just it's tough to lose your two starters, especially with Lugo's been so consistent recently, specifically, um, that it's going to be difficult to lose him. I think with Ray, I'm more concerned about Reagan's than I am about Lugo. His strikeouts are still through the roof, but I think that he was really pushing it because uh, he guys were fouling him off like crazy. And I can only imagine that's the most frustrating thing in the world as a strikeout pitcher that they're just nicking the ball off over and over again. I think he had like 28 foul balls in a start the other day, like some absurd number.
Hmm.
With Lugo, he said the finger feels okay. They're just taking it easy, being smart and letting him rest it. I'm more concerned with Reagan's just because it seemed like he was frustrated. And this is what his third time dealing with some sort of an injury. He was pulled with uh, groin earlier in the year, and then well, that was why he missed the start for Cameron.
Yep.
And so there was another thing before that. I forget what it was, but I don't know if that was the groin as well. If it's been bothering him all
Yeah, I
year,
think
but
it's been lingering most of the year. Um, I think I think that they're kind of thinking ahead this year a little bit too. Because
yeah,
Lugo, maybe he could have just missed a start and not gone on the IL. But we got to a point in August last year where they started to say, okay, we need to kind of get some other guys some starts to kind of ease these guys' workload a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. And Lugo said he was compensating because of a blister he had. So I think just
Hmm.
for both of them, let him get a little right, get it right back
Yeah,
into the swing of things, and
right.
he'll be okay.
And you have the depth to do it this year.
Right.
Last year we had some depth, but not the same. So, like you said, Noah Cameron was recalled, and then Evan Sisk also recalled from Omaha as corresponding moves to those two hitting the IL. Cameron gets to start today. We'll see beyond that what that looks like. I expect he'll be up until
Yeah,
both of
he's
those guys are
yeah.
back.
Both those guys will have to come back for him to get set down. I'm happy that Sisk is back up. That was a positive for me. I thought there was a possibility they might option Zerpa to bring him up when they went to
Hmm.
Houston. So um, I'm happy to see him back. I never really understood why they sent him down, to be honest with you. Like Taylor Clark's been good, but it really felt like Sisk
Hmm.
was the best lefty killer we had. I mean, Lynch is a good left-hander, but um, at times has some reverse splits with what he does, not really with batting average, but less strikeouts and things like that. And Sisk was really good against lefties, so I feel like he's a really
Yeah,
good strikeout option with leverage situation against a lefty. So happy to see him back up. That makes me feel pretty confident with what we can do against lefties going forward.
yeah. Hopefully he's up to stay. I think when Clark gets back from the paternity list, we'll see some more movement. Maybe Hunter Renfro, maybe Angel Zerpa, maybe Chris Stratton. I don't know, but there's got to be some sort of movement. I expect to get another starter onto the 40 man. Maybe
Yeah,
it's Luender Avila. I just don't know if I don't know if they feel like they need to rush him for maybe one or two missed starts.
yeah. It doesn't feel like he's completely ready, but
Hmm.
I also sometimes you gotta learn by the fire a little bit. It doesn't really have to be like they shove him into a full time starter role, and it's like if you struggle, you're screwed. So I'm not opposed to them calling him up and let him feel what it's like in the big leagues, so he knows what he has to work on, like sees why he has to work on them, even if he does struggle. But they don't have a great option really. There's
Hmm.
45-year-old Rich Hill, so
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Maybe Rich Hill factors in. Obviously, now Cameron's up. He had a 3.31 ERA in Omaha. Almost 7 no-hit innings last outing in his debut.
yeah,
I think Thomas Hatch comes to mind as like a break glass type of candidate. He's got a 5.12 ERA, which doesn't look great, but a 3.76 xFIP. He's got better command than he's had in the past. I think he's just one of those guys like you look to instead of bringing up a guy that you don't think is ready. If that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. I mean, if he can come out and pitch to contact some, get through a couple innings, I think you're happy with what he does. It doesn't have to be anything
Yeah,
spectacular,
yeah. If he can give you four, then I think you're happy.
right?
Avila, I don't think he's been bad. He's got a 3.59 FIP, but I mean, like you said, there's just not consistency. Seems like one outing the fastball is like nails, and then the next it's just not the same. So I don't know
I
what it
also
is with that, but
I also just think he projects better down the line out of the bullpen.
yeah, for
And
sure,
so
I agree.
it's weird, calling him up to start in this situation might make sense, but I feel like, you're looking a year down the line, 2 years down the line. I don't see him a part of the rotation, especially with how many good pure starters they have behind him. So,
Yeah, yeah, he gives me like back end closer type vibes.
right.
He hasn't really pitched out of a pen in bullpen or out of a pen in Omaha yet, but I agree. I think the stuff just kind of lends itself to that a lot more than a starter.
Yeah, I mean, if he's stretched out to start, if you don't stretch him out to start, does that stuff get even better? Because that would be
Yeah. Do
crazy. I
we
don't know
do
that it
we
can get much
find
better.
consistency with the fastball that's missing,
Yeah,
right?
especially.
Mhm. There's some other guys, Chandler Champlain, but I mean, we're talking about a 7.6 ERA. He hasn't looked great. There's just something's changed in the last
Yeah.
year and a half. He's just not the same.
There's not a lot of great
Um,
options, unfortunately. That's just kind of the
not for
reality right
not
now.
for starters. There's a few guys that are ready, but really they were leaning on Alec Marsh, who's injured. Kyle Wright's still working his way back,
Yeah, you
so
can't
some of the
force
depth's not there.
I just don't think you can force Kyle right back, and
No,
Daniel
I
Lynch
agree.
was a starter, but I think right now he's been so good out of the bullpen that you can't force him to start either, so
Hmm.
unless you're doing a full bullpen game. They're in a bit of a jam as far as who's gonna start in Reagan's spot coming forward, but
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew Hoffman comes to mind if they need a bullpen game, but he's not on the 40 man. So maybe Daniel Lynch makes a start and they have him, give us 3 innings.
yeah.
Who knows? But like I said, Taylor Clark's supposed to be back in 3 days. That's when I think we'll really see what the plan is because I don't think they have a choice. Somebody's going to get the DFA because they need to add somebody to the 40 man, I think.
Yeah, I think Renfro's been too bad. Uh, I
Hmm.
I hate to say it, like I think you and I both are the type of guys that don't really give up on players early. Like a lot of people, whether it's on Twitter or even big time fans, stuff like that, are quick to give up on players as they struggle. But baseball's all about consistency, and sometimes you're going to
Hmm.
struggle, sometimes you're going to be good, sometimes you got to give a player a chance to bounce back. But um, Renfro's been bad, and he hasn't really been better than any of the other outfielders, and the other outfielders aren't very good either. So at some point, you kind of just gotta cut rope,
Yeah.
give up.
Yeah, I mean there was times earlier this season where he had a good approach. He was walking. He was making contact. So it looked like bad luck. I think maybe I don't know, maybe he started to press when the results weren't there, but that's kind of gone to the wayside. He doesn't really have any of those things in his favor anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's he's struggling for sure, and
Yep.
I think Stratton's in the same boat that it's kind of you're just at the point that you gotta call it quits at some point. He's just not been
Mhm.
good enough.
Yeah, he's the guy that comes to mind. I think is a little more likely as a DFA, just because I think you need a pitcher, so you lose a pitcher, probably makes more sense. But that doesn't mean I don't think Renfro's pretty close behind him. I mean, we're kind of reaching. I think we're reaching the Hunter Dozier territory when they sent him
Yeah,
down and
yeah,
DFA'd
it's
him for Vinny Pasquantino. So
yeah, they're gonna. It could be John Rave if they need to add another outfielder, but really they gotta. Right now they have a pitching problem, so I think they're more concerned with that than they are about
yeah,
adding a hitter to replace him. They're already carrying one extra hitter, so
yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of the hitters, we can talk about the offense. It kind of came alive in May. Kyle Isbell is hitting like crazy all of a sudden.
I know we talked about him. We said, "Yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to really hit that hitting mark." And then that day he started hitting homers. And we were like, "Man,
Yeah,
really?" It's like,
yeah, the dude he's slugging 688 in May. He's better. He's the best hitter on the entire roster right now.
yeah, he has been incredible. It's been kind of tough that we missed pretty bad saying Renfro might bounce back and Isbell's kind of screwed. And then
Yeah,
what happened? It's baseball, man. Anything can happen. But
it's life for you.
yeah,
Yeah, Isbell's looked great. Bobby Witt Jr.'s still doing Bobby Witt Jr. things. Vinny Pasquantino, he's kind of come out of it. He's come alive. He's hitting 297 in May. Had that
yeah,
massive home run, 450 feet the other day. Michael Garcia still doing Michael Garcia things, and Jonathan India. I mean, he's hitting 293 in the month of May. So the offense is really coming alive. There's some guys that aren't. I mean, Michael Massey's still he's hitting 245, so it's a little better, but he's not getting on base really at a clip that you want to see. And then obviously Salvador Perez, we talked about a little bit. He's just really slumping really badly right now.
yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to get it back. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's at that, 34, 35 mark. Sometimes it just goes.
Yeah, and we love Salvi. Like it's everybody does. Great guy, great player, but he definitely is really struggling at the plate right now, and he's gonna have to find it quick. I
Mhm.
think we're also at the point where he's not gonna play behind the plate too often. I don't really think he should. Um, with Fermin and Maley, I mean Maley's playing relatively well right now, so both of
Mhm.
them are viable options behind the plate and are probably going to be better fielders than Salvi is. So that's, I think, the direction they're going to start going in and maybe give him more of a chance to just focus on hitting. But other than that, the top of the order has been really good. Bobby Witt, Michael Garcia, Jonathan India, and Vinny have been really solid. And I think Isbell's your everyday center fielder at the 9 spot until he gives you a reason that he shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they tried Drew Waters for a little bit, but he's kind of tapered off, like I think a lot of people expected. And I think that's honestly, I think that's just kind of what the outfield's going to be until maybe the deadline, maybe the off season. I don't know. They're just going to keep rotating guys, and somebody will be hot for a while, and then they'll cool off, and they'll bring somebody else.
Yeah, they have to get somebody at the deadline. I think there's going to be too many good players potentially available, especially with how bad the Orioles are struggling right now. I feel like that's a perfect fit where we can give up pitching and they
Hmm.
can give up hitting. And
And they just fired their manager today,
I know
so there's some change
Orioles
happening there.
living in the DMV area, people are ecstatic. This is the best day of the baseball season for them so far. So they're
Yeah,
over the moon to see
they
Hyde go.
they've got some guys. I see a lot of people talk about Kierstad. I just don't think he's really going to change life. He's not even hitting really that well in Baltimore.
I'm a fan of Kerstead just because I honestly I'll say I'm a fan of Kerstead because I was at a game last year where my friends and I all went. It was sold out, super big crowd, and it was one of his first games up. And he hit a huge grand slam for them against the Rangers, and he hasn't been the top 100 prospect that they proposed he might be, but I'd be willing to give him a shot. And if the Orioles are willing to move on from him, I just saw the home run, made me happy. Can't lie.
I think you get a discount on him at least.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of a discount, but there's still a lot of question marks about him. I think,
yeah.
but I mean,
You
I'm not
gotta
sure
work
you
with
can really acquire anybody that you're not going to have some question marks about either.
Yeah, I think they need a lefty, they need an outfielder, and that just feels like I mean, I think Mullins would be a better option. Like you're looking
Mhm.
at a veteran guy who's showed production in the past, like
Yeah,
showed that he's capable of it, and he's playing well this year as well. So um, they need a lefty, they need an outfielder. I think those two are like should be near the top of the list of what you're looking for.
yeah, yeah. Mullins, I think, would be a good ad. We'll see. I mean, we're getting closer to deadline, but there's so many teams out there that are really just compressed in the standings. You don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. So
Yeah,
really, over the next 4 weeks, I think it'll be a lot more telling. I think a month from now, we'll have a better idea of who's actually in the mix when it comes to trades.
right.
Well, beyond that, I mean, unless you have any other thoughts on the rotation and what that looks like, we can hop into some minor leaguers.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a better picture of the rotation as we go on, and the lineup is gonna be the lineup. I don't think there's much to be done about it, to be honest. I know a lot of people want to see guys sent down. Nick Lofton still has to come up. We haven't said that yet. Why is he still in the minor leagues?
Yeah,
That's getting absurd. Um, there's no reason why that guy's not playing right now. He should be in the lineup, and with his on base abilities, especially
the
him hitting.
the only explanation I could have is maybe they don't like the defense, and then you're having his poor defense and India's poor defense, and that's really the only thing I can think. But I mean, Hunter Renfroe has shitty defense,
Right, and
so
we're putting a second baseman who's never played left field in left field instead of the utility
mhm,
guy who's played outfield before. I don't get it. I
yeah,
don't get it.
yeah, it's a long ways from the days with Lofton playing center field, but he can still play left field fine, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and he's got the utility value. Um, I mean, Kevin Biggio's been getting on base, and he hit a double yesterday, but has hit for minimal power this year. I just think
Yeah,
Lofton
I mean,
provides something.
I think BGL's fine as a 26th man on your roster,
Yeah,
but they need, like you said, they need like Lofton. What are you waiting for? I don't know what else you want to see.
someone's got to hit. Someone at the bottom of the order has to hit. Right? And
Hmm.
he's even if he's not hitting, he's getting on base. Works for
Yeah.
me.
Hmm. Yeah, put him on base ahead of India and Bobby and Vinny. Put him at the bottom of the order.
Right.
Give you something.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, as far as the rest of the minor leagues, we did see David Shields promoted to Low A Columbia. He made his first start. Looked pretty solid, I thought. Um, I I just got to see the fastball develop a bit more. His mechanics are very simple, very repeatable. But as he builds strength and starts to look for more velocity, it's just going to be interesting to see if he can maintain that.
Yeah, he was drafted as a 17-year-old and has
Yeah.
plenty of
Mhm.
frame, I think, to develop that power. So,
Yeah, I did see some people talking about the Royals were just trying like the Mazzucato thing again, and I think they're vastly different pitchers, not even remotely the same.
yeah, he has I think a better frame and more to build on. The You mentioned something about how the leg kick has been a lot more valuable. Something you see with Roki Sasaki and some of these other guys with the
Mhm.
big kick up, a lot of deception there that I think makes him a little different. And again, I think he can build on that fastball quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I think he will. I just want to make sure that the Royals will too. They'll take their time. You want to make sure the mechanics stay clean while he builds that velocity. But he's got command too. I mean, we're talking about Mazzucato, who had a curveball, nothing else, and no command. I mean,
Right.
that's not what you have with David Shields.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he made his way to Columbia. Mauricio Veliz promoted to Northwest Arkansas. He looked sharp in Quad Cities, but he's really just an org depth guy, to be honest. In my
Yeah. And
thoughts,
I think right before we hopped on, somebody got promoted to Omaha.
yeah, Colton Becker they sent to
Yeah.
Omaha,
There
and
you go.
then Ethan Bossacker they sent
Yeah.
to Omaha.
That's what it was. I had it up on my phone. I was pulling it up. I couldn't remember, but yeah, there's
Yeah,
a Omaha doesn't have a pitcher today, so now they do, I guess. They
well, they're going
because
to be
they
down another pitcher here before long.
yeah, 'cause they pulled up Cameron and Avila pitched, and they had a bullpen game the day before. It was like, who's going today?
Yeah, I
So
mean, Bossacker's fine. I think we had him when I did the update for top 30. I think he was like right at the tail end of that top
yeah,
30.
yep,
He's just he's not going to be a strikeout guy, so it really lowers the prospect ceiling.
right,
Speaking of Omaha, though, 19 and 22 on the season. They're still 10 games back in the International League. It's just not been pretty there this year, but they have a lot of quad A guys. They don't really have true prospects anymore.
right.
We had Gentry and Lofton there for a bit, but that's faded, and they're not really prospects anymore. So it's just a bunch of, I mean, outside of like Cameron and Avila and some of the pitchers, the offense is just pretty meh.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, we both had two hitters as our standouts for Omaha. So I'll go first. I had Tyler Gentry. Like I said, he's kind of fallen off the map as a true prospect. I don't know what changed when he got to Omaha last year. He just didn't look the same as 2023. Strikeouts were way up. Maybe he's trying to lift the ball. Maybe he's trying to hit for more power. I mean, he's doing it so far this season. This month, he's got a 5.71 slug. He's got a 200 ISO. So he's hitting for power, not home run power, more doubles power, walking 7%, but the strikeouts are still at 28%. So maybe he's a guy, he's on the 40 man, so you give him a shot, but he's just in a weird place. He's not the same as he was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him to find playtime until at least Renfro's off the roster. And I think right now if they're going to call up a hitter, they're maybe looking for a left. I mean, Lofton's got to be ahead of him. So it's going to be maybe tough for him to find a spot on the roster unless some injuries occur. But he's heated up a little bit, which is really good to see. So nice
Yeah,
to.
I mean, on the season, his strikeout rate's a little better than it is this month. I think he's at like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, he at one point I thought he was like the left fielder of the future, and it's just fallen off ever since.
Yeah, he's really not made it too well. He got called up last year, didn't play all that well, and just hasn't been able to really find it. And mine's another outfielder, John Rave, who has also been hitting quite well, 352 batting average and 462 on base percentage. So really good from him. I know a lot of people we work with, the Farm to Fountains, are really high on him. I didn't quite see him as the man to work in the outfield. I still don't know that he answers all of the questions in the outfield, but he is a lefty bat. He is getting on base. He is hitting well. I think at this point he's earned at least a shot in the major leagues, like with the way he's hitting recently. He can play center field, can play all three of the outfield spots, at least is my impression.
Yeah, he can play. I mean, he had great defense last year in Omaha. It's just not going to be as good in Coffin, where there's a lot more room to cover.
Yeah, but I mean, right now he's hitting. Maybe an older guy, so a little more hesitant than the other younger prospects, but still, I think he may have earned himself a shot with the way he's been hitting recently, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's hitting for home run power this month. He's really mashing the ball.
No, yeah, he's hitting it hard.
Yeah, I think he's worth a shot. I don't think you're getting like a Whit Merrifield late bloomer with John Rave, but maybe like a Jorge Bonifacio type season where he just has a really strong flash in the pan season and then falls off.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be a superstar, as we all know by our outfield.
Yeah, it'll take a 40-man roster move, but I mean, any outfielder coming up is probably going to be because of a DFA. So
I mean, we got guys who are ready to go.
Yeah, get out of here. On the Northwest Arkansas, they're getting a little better this year. 19-18, 4 games back in the Texas League. Tell me about. I mean, it's no surprise. Tell me about your guy.
I can't. I wanted to do somebody else. I was trying to be different. You want to be the guy that knows ball, knows the niche guys. But I mean, when you just look at the stats for Northwest Arkansas, the first thing that catches your eyes is, wait, that guy is a 1,000 OPS, and we all know it's Jac Caglianone. It's that guy. He's raking. The guy, he's unbelievable. He's the best prospect I think the Royals have seen since Bobby Witt, easily. He's mashing the ball, hits the ball harder than anybody I think I've ever seen in the minor leagues at a minimum, probably in the majors. He's going to be in Kansas City this year. I'm boldly willing to say that at some point he's going to be up this year, whether that's right before the playoffs or mid-July, June. We're going to see him in a Royals jersey. He has 5 home runs in May. The guy's just killing the baseball. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point what they're waiting for when it comes to promoting him.
He has to be in Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the only logical explanation I have is maybe they just don't see really that much of a benefit when it comes to AAA and AA.
Yeah, I also think maybe they're worried about him learning the outfield, but really, I mean, who cares if Omaha loses a little bit, right? Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he is belting that thing. And,
I mean, we already saw it here in spring training against the Cubs, right? Like, he's ready for big league league pitchers.
I remember that home run, the one we just showed. I was with my with my parents, and I said, "This is the Royals' number one prospect. You guys haven't heard of him yet, but he hits for so much power." And right when I said power, he mashed that thing, and I said, see, look." He's a he's a special player, and so I wanted to go somebody different, maybe a pitcher, something like that, but I couldn't help myself. I had to say
I
something.
think as
Kid's
long
good
as
on defense.
Cags is in the system, we talk about Cags.
Yeah,
He started to work at bats a lot better now lately.
yeah, less
He's
strikeouts for
working
sure.
counts a bit.
Mhm.
And he was never really striking out a ton before, but he was just so aggressive that you could see that really turning into strikeouts at the next level. But he's kind of tapered off there a little bit. So
He can
I
be
don't,
aggressive as he wants with the way he hits. Swing
yeah,
away,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. I don't see much else other than, like you said, maybe right field getting some time there. But he hasn't really been playing a lot of right lately. He's been at first quite a
Yeah.
bit lately. So my guy in Northwest Arkansas, I went with Hunter Owen. He's not a guy that I don't think very many people talk about. I really liked him out of the draft, but he was more of a project than I think we thought. But he's been strong in May. 14 strikeouts, only 3 walks, has a 104 WHIP. Still hovering around, like the mid fours, around the 5 range with the ERA, which isn't pretty, but his FIP's much lower. The stuff I think has always been there. He's another guy like Avila, probably more of a reliever type long term, but he's been nails for Northwest Arkansas. So I'm going
Yeah,
to
he's
chat
a
on
big guy too, so it's
him.
arm
Yeah, I think
angle
he's like
deceiving stuff.
6'4", 6'5",
Yeah,
220, somewhere around there.
yeah, he can put something behind it too. He struggled with injuries when he first started in
Yeah,
the system, so I think he has more velocity there, but you don't really want to push it too much. But he's striking guys out, so I don't think he has to push it too hard right now.
yeah, it's working. And this is his first go around at Northwest Arkansas, so nice to see. On to Quad Cities. We'll go with your guy first.
Yeah, I can't help myself sometimes. I really can't. I know I did Caglianone last time. My guy Drew Beam. Um, this might be a weekly occurrence for me. The kid, I thought he should have started in Double A. At this point, he might as well skip Double A. Not really. You take your time with it. But he's 2 games in May, zero point 0.9 ERA, 13 strikeouts over 10 innings. Great fastball. Probably again, in my opinion, he's the best starting pitcher, probably the best pitching prospect in the entire organization. That's where I had him to start the year. I had him as a top 5 prospect and was the best pitcher in the organization and or pitching prospect in the organization. Let me settle down. But he's been really impressive with all of the pitches that he has. He shown a lot of confidence. He really got knocked around in his first start, and then since then has really been impressive. Got off really hot in May, so we'll see if he keeps it up. But I don't think you're going to see him in Quad Cities too long. He's going to move quick.
Yeah, I was really on the fence with him, whether he would debut in Arkansas or Iowa, and I think he's ready for Arkansas.
Yeah, it's tough. We all said that Northwest Arkansas might have like too many good pitchers, and now all of a sudden, Quad Cities might have too many good pitchers. It's like,
Yeah, and they're 23 and 13, first place in the Midwest League.
yeah,
And all three of these guys we have here, they're all pitchers, and that's why they're so dominant this year. They have probably the best pitching staff, if not at high A, among the best in the minor leagues.
yeah, absolutely.
I'll throw out Shane Panzini. He completely fell off the map. He was in that Mazzucato Kudina mix 2021 draft. He just kind of didn't look good at all. He looked really bad.
Mhm.
And he ended last year kind of on the development list, just kind of working on some things. This year, it looks like his arm slot's lower. Um, Fastball looks a bit different, and it's really working for him. Last 5 games, he's got a 34.6% K percentage. So 1.4 ERA, 2.22 FIP. He's striking guys out like he never did before. Maybe he's a reliever long term, but the tweaks the Royals made with the arm slot, it's really made a difference. So
Yeah,
he's a
how
guy that
incredible is
fell off
this?
the map.
How incredible has this pitching staff been? Because we're talking
Mhm.
about pitchers galore, especially once you get past Omaha. You're talking about the young guys. There's just so many that have made changes that have gone from terrible to great, or not even just. It doesn't even have to be great, just good. I mean, Panzini's been really impressive recently. Much higher strikeout rate now, which is something I think a lot of people could get excited about. Um, and speaking of somebody that is not quite uh, did not quite get off to the start that people expected. I had to include an honorable mention just to let people know because I don't think people are noticing how well Frank Mazzucato is doing. Uh, 3 games in May, 15 innings, 1.2 ERA, and 19 strikeouts over 15 innings. He's been incredible. We mentioned earlier this year that his fastball velocity was up. It's not always up in his starts now. I think it starts a little higher and then fades throughout his starts.
Hmm.
But he's still keeping it low 90s for the most part. Sometimes he'll drop out of the 90s, but for the most part, it's 91, 92, 90. Um, for now, that's going to work. I think the Royals might add some other um, types of fastballs, something to give it more movement. But he's been effective so far. I mean, the kid's been impressive, former first round pick. So the pitching staff has been incredible with working with these guys. I mean, it really felt like Mazzucato was maybe a lost cause at one point. I mean, a lot of people in
Yeah, well, he hung his hat on the strikeout rate until last year and just completely tanked.
yeah, yeah, it felt bad last year, and I'll put myself on the list of people that didn't really know that he was going to bounce back too much. But it seems that they've really been able to work with him this offseason, and he's a different type of player. He had one of the lowest ERAs, I think, in high A baseball. So
Yep.
all
Yeah,
around, so
he's among the minor league leaders right now.
yeah, he's
I
incredible.
was, I mean, I fell on him. He came out of the top 30 when I did a December update, but the velocity is just completely different. I think they put him on, kind of like a Noah Cameron type plan. Cameron had that low 90s fastball that didn't really work. Mazzucato's works because it has much better shape, but they added that cutter and it made both pitches really effective. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think if Mazzucato spins the ball well already, give him a cutter to kind of just add a wrinkle, and I think it just gets better from there.
Yeah, you got to keep people off the barrel on the fastball. And um,
Mm.
just a little while ago, maybe a month or two ago, I had a guy on Twitter that accused you of trying to get me on the Mazzucato agenda. Um,
I didn't
he's
see that.
guilty. He's guilty. Um, yeah, he told me he asked me my if I was the guy on the podcast. He said he's trying to get you on the Mazzucato agenda.
Oh, I
Guilty,
remember this now.
guilty
Yes,
as charged. Yeah,
yes, I remember this.
I'm on it, but I don't see why you could be off the Mazzucato agenda right now with the way he's been pitching. So,
I mean,
I
it depends what your agenda is. If you think he's a top 100 prospect and an ace, then
yeah,
take it
not quite
somewhere
that.
else. But
Let's settle down. I think he and Beam might find their way to Northwest Arkansas pretty soon, and we'll go from there.
mhm,
But
yeah,
um, verging on the point of saying that he might be done in high A because he's pitching way too well to be
com-
down there right now.
completely different story with him and Ben Kudrna at this point. I mean, Kudrna's at a level higher. He's a double A, but he just looks abysmal right now.
Yeah,
ZRA is like 5.5, maybe 6. It's just a year ago. I don't think you could have thought that we would be here. It
right.
was just completely opposite.
And the fastball's terrible. Like it's
Yeah.
not good. It's a straight line pitch. It doesn't have much spin. Falls right onto the bat. And he only has. If the fastball's not that good, you need other offerings. Right now, he just doesn't have it. So
He's a
rooting
he's a
for him.
one pitch guy, to be honest. His slider's effective and changeup's inconsistent.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. And Kansas kid, everybody wants him to be good, but right now he's struggling. And I think right now you got a lot of guys in Quad Cities that have been really good that
Mhm.
are looking for a spot, and his may be available at some point with the way these other guys are going.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like you said, I think Moscato will be up there soon. We'll round it out. Columbia 21 and 16. They're also in first place. So high A, low A, both first place clubs right now. As of a week ago, I think the Royals as a whole, if you combine all their affiliates, I think they had the best winning percentage in all of baseball.
Very cool.
So it's nice to see.
Yeah,
Um,
good
I'll start
change.
with I'll start with Columbia. I've got Josh Hansel. I actually did an interview with him last year. Super solid guy, super solid interview. Later round guy for the Royals when he was drafted. Really kind of just a guy, right? Maybe a money saving move, but
Yeah.
he's got some stuff, and he's starting to kind of show it finally at Columbia. He gave up 6 earned runs in a start on April 13th. Since then, he's got a 2.72 FIP, 22 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts in that span, 6 walks. So the strikeout stuff's crazy. There's so many pitchers. Like you could pick like 4 from each of these affiliates, and
Yeah,
he's just the guy this month that is showing out. So
yeah. You really could just if you put all the faces on a dartboard and threw it, you're probably going to hit somebody who has the potential to be a major league player at this point. Um, the pitching's incredible. It's such a change of pace from when they drafted Mazzucato and we're coming off as Bubic and Kowar and all these other guys are starting to get called up. We're all like, oh, are they going to be good? And then they weren't. The pitching development, we don't have any depth, and even them major league team. Now we have some of the best starters in the league. The bullpen looks good. There's depth galore, and it happened in like 3-4 years. It was impressive. So very cool. I'm going to go with another pitcher, believe it or not. Junior Marte in Colombia. He's been really good over his last 15 innings. Has not allowed a run, 17 strikeouts. I don't know what more you can ask from him. That's really nice for a young international prospect. And he's young. He's going to mold, but could find his way up pretty soon. But again, like we're saying, there's so many good pitchers. It's just hard for these guys to move up. There's just not a lot of room for them to, not a lot of spots for them to take.
Yeah, and there's more guys behind him. We saw, moving beyond Colombia, we saw in the complex league, Kyle DeGroat had a start. I think he had 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. So he's another guy from last year's draft class that looks maybe he'll be in Colombia before long. It's just a never-ending line of pitchers at this point.
India's hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah, I just watched him go down. It looks like that same knee that he got slid into, trying to make a double play.
Should have been DH.
Yeah, and we can't afford. Oh, that's a terrible slide. Come up with the spikes all the way up. Yeah, that can't feel good.
Hopefully it'll be like earlier this year. He had like that weird injury and then he was fine.
Yeah.
Well, he got hit in the head that one time, right?
Yeah, it was like what against the Astros. Some guy Pena, I think, took an aggressive slide. Nothing dirty there, but took an aggressive slide, caught him. But hopefully he'll be okay. But just saw that Cameron rolled up 2 double plays, basically. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the first one, but they get the second one. That kid's good. He's I would say he's going to take a job and not give it back.
If he gets a chance to make 2 or 3 starts here, then I don't know what you do. It's hard to send him back down at that point.
You might not end up with a choice, but if he's really good and then they feel like they have depth, if this 6th guy gets called up, whether it's Hatch, whether it's Avila, whether it's Hill, any of those guys, if the 6th guy comes up and even looks solid, I mean, that makes it a little more tough. It could make one of the pitchers, Lorenzen, a trade possibility because he has a player option, I think, or a team option in his next year of his contract. Lugo has a player option that he's very likely not going to accept. I doubt they would want to trade him. That would be scary for sure, especially with one of your more consistent
guys. Not necessarily because of performance. I mean, he's been
because of the contract.
Year, but the contract, yeah. But then for the Royals, there's just like that leadership piece. I think that he brought. He was like that face of this new pitching regime.
Yeah, so I don't think they'd want to get rid of him. I even think that if he continues to pitch the way he has, they might try to work out something for next year, years going forward, even extend him. So I don't see that. But I mean, the Orioles would probably love Michael Lorenzen, especially with if he's able to come back next year. They're going to need a rotation, Zerpa, something like that. But if they're looking to find room in the rotation, if Cameron keeps pitching the way that he's pitched so far in his career, that's it. He's going to make life hard on the JJ Piccolo and the rest of the staff.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think there's going to be some sort of trade. They've got to get rid of some pitching. Not because they want to, but you just have too much.
There's too much. Yeah, there's too much pitching and not enough hitting. I mean, it's a very relatively simple problem, and I'd rather have too much pitching than not enough and no hitters. So you've got to find somebody.
And they can develop arms, so you can just refill as you're drafting this year. You know.
Yeah, this draft has some good pitchers too. So guys, I'm intrigued by.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst case if you have Lorenzen in the bullpen either. But, I mean, they still have guys in the system. Emmanuel Reyes hasn't pitched yet. Steven Sobak's been hurt. So there's still arms that are very good arms that are not pitching.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern would come if, you take Cameron and move him into the rotation. Then you don't have the depth. So you're going to have a 6th pitcher. Because right now the depth is deeper than you want it to be. Because Cameron's really the only guy in AAA right now that I'm confident can come up to the major leagues and pitch. And somebody else has to prove that before.
If we're looking at just this year, I think you're probably better off looking at like, okay, what can I get for Avila? Who, we probably think he's a reliever, but maybe somebody else thinks he's a starter.
Yeah. Yep.
So, beyond Colombia though, the complex league, Blake Mitchell's been there, kind of playing off and on. He's working back from injury. They have the international guys. Ugarte's looked good. Jose Soris, he's a third baseman, was in the Dominican last year. He's got a 961 OPS early on, so they just keep coming. These international guys, the Royals are doing really well there lately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that complex league is a loaded roster. That's a stacked team.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
gonna there's a lot of fun guys, especially down low. So you could see some really. It's just so refreshing. I can't express it enough. It's been so frustrating to just feel like you're one of the worst teams in the league with one of the worst minor league systems, and the MLB's broken and all this stuff. It's so refreshing to see a lot of minor league talent, a lot to get excited for every time they come out. Like it's not only enjoyable to watch minor league baseball, but to come back and watch them uh, what they could be in the major leagues. There's a lot of projection there.
yeah, 100%. We'll see. I mean, before long we'll have trade deadlines, so maybe next time we're together we can look at some trade targets. Maybe there'll be some rumors finally, and then
Yeah,
before
I think
long
we'll
we
have a better
will.
picture.
Yeah, for sure. Before long we'll have some draft work as well. So we'll see.
Yeah,
You want to wrap up with hats off? You got anything today?
yeah, I do. I'll put it together. I mentioned it a little earlier, but it's going to be hats off to the Baltimore Orioles for finally making the right decision, getting rid of Hyde. He just wasn't good. The lineups weren't good. Jackson Holiday wasn't playing every day, which was absolutely absurd. There was no reason that guy wasn't playing every day. And then when he was playing, he was hitting like 7 and 8. I don't know what you're doing. You have like one of the best prospects in baseball, one of the best young
Mhm.
players. I know he struggled some last year, but Orioles fans were going insane. Um, Adley Rutschman hasn't been able to bounce back. Gunnar Henderson struggled at times, and the pitching's just terrible. You have to have somebody that can develop something. And he doesn't make good lineups. Wasn't really working out. I know he won Manager of the Year, but the team was good, and think about how insane that farm system was. So um, he wasn't it. Most Orioles fans were waiting for this day, hoping for it, and it's finally come. So hats off to the Orioles getting aggressive, making the right decision, and we'll see where they go from here.
I'm just gonna keep hoping for their demise the rest of this year, so they have to trade a bunch of people.
Yeah. No, Gunnar Henderson. Oh, has to come to the Orioles. The Royals. No.
That
Oh,
would
I
be
can't believe
crazy,
it.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
I'm still holding out. I think my best case, like my dream scenario, is still Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
that would
love
be
him at
fun.
third base.
That would definitely be fun. Yeah.
I don't know how realistic he is, but I mean, he's in a contract year, and they paid Vlad, so I don't know if they're gonna pay him.
It's just so easy to see it with the Orioles. With again, they need pitching, and you
Yeah,
got guys Kobe Mayo and Jordan Westberg and Heston Kjerstad, and then we wouldn't want Ryan Mountcastle, but maybe other teams would. There's just so much there to
yeah. Even like
go.
Dylan Beavers, I really love
Yeah,
him in AAA. He's a
yeah.
question mark at the big league level, but I think he's a good prospect.
They don't have any room for him. I mean, you want to get a utility guy if you're sick of BGO. If you're dead set on a pinch runner, go get Jorge Mateo, who can play every position on the field and is probably faster than
Yeah,
Dyron or Tyler Tolbert. So, um, but
shit. If you need somebody that can
nonetheless,
run, just get Enrique Bradfield Jr.
yeah, right. Yeah, that kid's a blazing speed. Yeah, not much more than that, but you want to steal bases, go steal
Yeah,
bases. God forbid Nick Lofton play baseball.
yeah. We don't need hitters. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, my hat's off. I don't know. I'm kind of back to the sarcasm, unfortunately.
yeah, that's just
I'm sure
fine.
everybody saw, the Pete Rose ruling earlier this month, last week, whatever it was. There's a lot of people that came out in support of that. I don't know where you stand, so maybe we can disagree. I just don't get it. I don't think that you have to put somebody in the Hall of Fame to tell their story of the game.
No. It's
You can tell the story of baseball without saying, yes, this guy receives the greatest honor that a player can receive.
Yeah, I'm gonna live and die by the. I was happy that shoeless Joe Jackson got in. Gambling stinks. Not a fan of the sports betting, but great baseball player nonetheless. I think that's a little bit different. Pete Rose had his own situation, a bit of like similar to like why Carl Malone shouldn't be in the NBA Hall of Fame. A little similar story. I'm not going to get super deep into it because it's disgusting. Um, but the Hall of Fame in all of sports, football, baseball, basketball, regardless, is not just representative of what you do on the diamond. It's representative of what you
Hmm.
do for the game.
Yep.
Um, it's something that I've advocated for with Salvador Perez as well. He's been so beneficial to Kansas City. He's been beneficial to Venezuela for his where he's from. He's been beneficial for young kids in the area. He's a happy guy, loves the game of baseball, spreads joy every time he's on the field. He's just a great person. I think that, along with how incredible he has been playing baseball, makes him a Hall of Famer. Pete Rose may have been one of the best baseball players ever, but um, I don't want to speak ill of the dead or anything like that. But what he did off the field to innocent people is disgusting. And it's similar to my approach with Carl Malone. I just think that you could be one of the best scorers, one of the best hitters, one of the best, I don't know, quarterbacks ever. But if you do disgusting actions like that off the field, that is very clear that you did, you have no right to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and we've already seen that in practice with guys like Kurt Schilling, right?
Right.
He's just vastly not liked, and he's just kind of a bad dude. But obviously, Pete Rose, different level. And like you said, we don't want to speak poorly of the dead, but I can't
Why
wait
do you
for the
wait till
day
he's
that
dead? Like, if you were ever going to
yeah.
put him in, why'd you wait till he died? Like, I don't
Maybe
get
they
it.
thought that public sentiment would be better because they'd feel bad that he passed away. I don't know.
That's even more disgusting. Like,
I
it's,
just I can't
can't
wait for the
stand
day
that.
that Rob Manfred is
He's got to
gone.
go. He's got to
It's
go.
just
He's got to go. You and I were throwing a fit the other day with Jeff Passan. It was like, do we really want to have players sit out for a year of baseball
what
for the
happened. What happened to Jeff Passan, man?
He's
He
like,
just sold out
we're
so
really
bad.
going to lose a year of young baseball players? Yes, yes, we will. Please,
Do it. I mean,
absolutely.
we lost a year of Mike Trout's career for less, so
Yeah, right.
most of a year anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, the day can't come soon enough. But
Right.
beyond that, though, I mean, that's our show for the day. So
Yeah.
thanks for hopping on. See what Noah Cameron's doing real quick.
Yeah.
The goal next time we get together, we'll have some trade talk, we'll have some draft talk. Cameron's your 2 scoreless against the Cardinals, so
Yeah.
looks
Maybe
good.
maybe we come back. We'll have some more Noah Cameron content, talking live updates of the Noah Cameron game. We'll see. If we,
Yeah, we're only gonna record on games he starts.
Yeah,
from now
that's
on.
the rule from now on.
So, but yeah, the hope is
Cameron
next time we get
podcast.
together, hopefully we'll also have some Hunter Renfrow and Chris Stratton news. So that'll be nice.
We'll have to make the description the Cameron cast.
Yeah, we're changing the name, guys. All right. With that, we'll catch y'all later.